I do think you are overreacting, David. Give it a little time to settle down. And then, in the meantime, tread a little more carefully.
That isn't possible. Now, I feel very strongly about the education centre in particular. If I continue on here, there's a good chance that it'll close. I have to resign. That way the school may have a hope in someone else's hands.
I see. David, I like you, and I appreciate your efforts in trying to make improvements in the system. But I can see you have thought this over very carefully before making your decision, and under the circumstances, it is probably the wisest move. But I shall be very sorry to see you leave.
Thank you.
I shall inform the Education Department that you are being forced to resign for personal reasons, and that I have the highest regard for your work here.
It's very kind of you, Mrs. Davidson. I haven't exactly been a roaring success, have I?
Don't downgrade your achievements. You have made the women want to learn, to think of something else other than their day-to-day existence in here. That is of enormous value.
You know, I'm beginning to wonder if it's all worth it.
But you said that was the only way we could get our rights.
It was before. I didn't know they were going to blame Andrews for it.
What difference does that make?
Well, he happens to be the only one who gives a damn about us for a start. And if they blame him for us going out on strike, they'll shoot him out of here so fast he'll get a nosebleed. Maybe I should call it off.
Well, have you and your friends had enough of being locked up yet?
No. We're quite happy to stay here until you screws realise just how important it is for us to get some training so we can get a decent job when we leave.
I wouldn't worry about that if I were you, Smith. By the time you get out of here, you'll be too old to work.
I wasn't thinking of myself, Vera. I was thinking of the other poor sods in here.
How touching. Anyway, how much work do you think's available for Braille machine operators? It's not a paid job, and it's nearly always done by little old ladies to help out in charity work. Probably why they offered it to you.
Dried up old bitch.
You can say that again.
Well, come in then. Sit down. Make yourself at home.
What's up?
Sorry about the mess the place is in, but we've been decorating Elizabeth's room, see?
Want to have it as nice as possible for when we get Elizabeth back.
Yeah. Can I get you a cup of tea?
No, thanks.
Not for me, thanks, Chris.
Look, I haven't got very much time. I've got a lot on today, but I thought I'd like to at least meet you, try to explain the situation, and then we can go into more detail later on.
Right. What do we have to do then?
Well, as a ward of the state, you can apply to the department for Elizabeth to be released as long as you can fulfil certain conditions.
What are they?
It's basically a matter of showing yourselves to be capable parents, providing a decent place for your daughter to live, providing security, and showing yourselves to have the mental stability to handle the job.
Oh, there'll be no worries there then.
Yeah, what about us both having criminal records?
Well, I'm not going to pretend that isn't going to make a difference, but as long as you can show yourselves to be completely reformed and willing to lead a lawful life, then I'll say you'll be all right.
And, well, what if the application should fail for some reason?
Well, then you can apply to the Supreme Court to have your daughter made a ward of the court.
What good's that going to do?
Well, it's not very easy, and the laws pertaining to children are hopelessly out of date. But the idea is to show that neither the court nor the state are better parents than you are.
That won't be very hard to do, then.
Yes. Well, look, hopefully it won't reach that far, but I'd like to initiate proceedings with the Department of Community Welfare, and then I can appear at the meeting with you.
Oh, that'd be marvellous. How soon?
Well, I'll check in my diary for the earliest possible date, and then we can work out a case to present to the department.
Can I help you?
Oh, I'd like to see the governor, if I may.
I'll see if she's available. Did you have an appointment?
No.
What's the name, please?
Hope. Peter Hope.
Peter Hope. Right.
And how can I help, Mr. Hope?
Well, I've realized that Doreen was right. I was making a complete fool of myself, and no one else bothered to point it out to me. No doubt they just laughed at me behind my back. She was the only one with the courage to tell me to my face.
I imagine it must have been a very hard lesson to learn.
Yes, it was at first, but now I've come to terms with it, I feel a lot better.
I am glad. But, what do you want me to do?
Well, I feel I owe Doreen a debt of gratitude. I know she must be very lonely in here, otherwise she wouldn't have written to me in the first place.
Yes?
Well, I'd like to offer her some form of outside contact, No strings attached, of course. I thought it might help both of us if we were, well...
Friends?
Yes.
Well, I think it would be a very nice idea, but don't you think you should ask Doreen yourself?
Oh, yes. I mean, may I?
Yes, of course. I'll arrange it for you.
Yeah, you should knock first. You only got a mug of coffee in your face. I thought it was Vera.
You're a big game coming here so soon after last time, aren't you?
It doesn't matter anymore. I've come to say goodbye.
What do you mean goodbye?
Where are you going?
I've just handed in my resignation.
Oh, that's bloody lovely, isn't it? Copping out the minute the going gets rough.
Well, I didn't have an option.
Why didn't you fight?
I tried that, Lizzie, but it just doesn't seem to work. Not only for me, but for you and for what I was trying to achieve. It's a no-win situation. It's impossible for me to go on working here.
The screws in the union, right?
Partly, but it's also my fault. I tried to go too far too fast.
Ken Pierce always used to say a little bit at a time and make them think the ideas are coming from them.
Yes, well, I should have talked to him more. Anyway, you should call off the strike. You'll only do damage to yourselves.
Oh, I'll think about it. If you're going now, it's not going to affect you. And we might still get some mileage out of it.
You're quite a bulldog, Bea.
Oh, thanks for the flattery.
Sorry you're going. I'm going to miss the pottery class.
Oh, don't worry, Lizzie. There'll be someone to replace me.
I wouldn't hang by me toenails waiting.
Well, what are you going to do now?
I don't know. I used to teach underprivileged kids. Maybe I can go back to that. Get them early, prevent them from finishing up in places like this.
Give the underdog a break, eh?
Always. Look after yourselves, Lizzie.
You too.
Bea. See you.
Yeah, sure. Bye, Teach.
All right, Burns, you wanted in the governor's office.
Why?
That's got nothing to do with you.
Oh, yes, it does. If you're going to try and take us out one at a time to get us to end the strike.
Why bother? You're much easier to look after locked up in here.
Well, I'm not going anywhere.
Yes, you are. You've got a visitor.
Who?
Peter Hope.
Tell him I'm not in and to leave a message.
You've got no choice. The governor wants to see you in her office, and that's an order.
When will that old rocker learn to leave me alone?
There's no way to talk about the governor.
Hello, Doreen.
That will be all, thank you, Mrs. Powell. Mr. Hope has come all the way out here to talk to you, Doreen.
I wrote, but I wasn't sure you got my letters. There wasn't any reply.
He must have got lost in the mail, eh? In any case, there wasn't much sense in writing back.
Well, I wrote telling you how much I appreciated what you told me the last time I was here.
Yeah, well, I was pretty rotten to you, wasn't I?
No, I deserved it. I was trying to be somebody I wasn't. You made me take a good look at myself and see how ridiculous I was. Thank you.
Oh, it's all right. I'm sorry if I hurt you.
Well, I did at first, until I thought about it, but I was so far gone I needed someone to pull me up with a jolt.
Well, you certainly got that.
Doreen, I was wondering, I'd like us to be friends. Just friends, of course. I thought we could go on writing to one another like we did before.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, there's not much point.
Well, neither of us has anybody, and, well, I thought it'd be nice if we could write to each other. Look, don't feel bad about it. I understand. It was just a thought. Well, goodbye, Doreen. Thank you very much for all you've done for me. I think you're a very nice person.
No, I'm not. Oh, but I did enjoy your letters.
Oh, good. Well, if you ever change your mind, you have my address.
Yeah. Can I go back now? Bye, Peter.
Bye.
It's not working. I'm calling it off.
You sure, Bea? We'll hang in there if you want us to.
No, we're not going to get the mileage out of it. Besides, we'll only be the ones to suffer in the long run. No.